Hi everyone, my name's Kelsey Jones. I'm the executive editor at Search Engine Journal, and I'm joined here today by Purna Virji. She is the senior training manager at Microsoft. Purna, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Kelsey.
So I'm so glad we finally got to meet in person. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about voice search and AI. So voice search is something I think it's becoming more and more common. What are some areas you see businesses using it and people as well that would be useful to know?
Yes, and voice search is becoming more and more common as we've seen. Like the adoption rates have staggeringly soared, and it's been interesting to see how people have adopted it. So I've been talking about voice search for since the start of the year, and giving out some advice for how we can test it out. It's been lovely to see. So what I found is some clients are looking at their search query reports either in webmaster tools or just within their PPC campaigns and looking to see, are they seeing any signs of voice? And if they do, then how do they prioritize what type of queries do they want to optimize for voice?
Yeah.
And the great thing about voice is that the intent is so much clearer. Like if I was a travel agency, I'd probably want to optimize more for what's the best Bahamas vacation package as opposed to who lives in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then we can take actions to be like, oh, this is a high intent question. Do I have like an FAQ page? Do I have any content marketing around it? Am I optimized for that? So that's been really interesting to see people build for that and get prepared. Because all these digital personal assistants want to do is make your life easier and relate to you and help you get the action or the goal that you want to reach.
Yeah, exactly. And AI is something that I think it's just fascinating, like especially with the release of Google Allo and then Cortana and Siri. How do you think that's going to shape search specifically, or how we use technology in search engines?
Oh, I think it's poised for like a pretty big shift, and it's such an exciting time for all of us to be in this industry. Because what's happening is the technology kept shifting and we had the abilities to get more and more data, but what we weren't doing was using that data in like really clever ways. I mean, we were using it in good ways, but now we can use it even more effective ways. For example, imagine if I am a really large clothing retailer and I know that this jacket is going to be the hit jacket in the summer of 2017. Now I can start to prepare my ads, I can prepare my advertising materials, I can go forth and poise myself for success based on the predictive and the additional big data that AI can crunch for us. Plus, it's there to understand us better, so it's going to be less irrelevant for us. If I know that, hey, I'm vegetarian, for example, I don't eat meat, so I'm going to look for restaurants, it's probably not going to show me steakhouses anymore, which I did see before. So advertisers should be prepared because we'll show up less often, but when we do, it will be much more effective.
Yeah, I have an Android phone and I use Google Now, and it'll show me articles that I would be interested in based on my search history, and sometimes it's so scarily accurate. I'm like, well, yes, I would like to read about Kim Kardashian again, even though I get always sucked in, but it's so accurate. And so I think there's tons of opportunities for not only e-commerce, but publishers as well to get their content found by AI.
Absolutely, and I think that that's going to be the biggest question on the table, is that how do we make ourselves be seen as really relevant for the AI to want to choose us and display us? And I think that's something we're all going to have to figure out as time goes on with that. But ultimately, it's what we SEOs always did with Google a while ago. It was like align to Google's goal, and then you will get sort of rewarded, quote unquote. So if we can try to make sure we're being relevant, we're being helpful, and we're tying ourselves into what that person might want, the chances are we'll show up.
So to kind of, a takeaway from the interview is, do you think for voice search and AR, we should be optimizing for more specific long tail phrases and keywords? Does that increase the likelihood of AI showing our content?
It does to a certain extent, and yes, I would say like a step that we can absolutely take now is look at some of the core keywords that we had to train ourselves to use machine language, and now it's the machines are learning us. So what we would want to do is look at some natural language queries. Like people would tend to ask things like, oh, what's the cheapest digital camera I can buy? So maybe now to show some content that focuses on value. So it's things like that. Add the question if you can, add the longer queries. But also, interestingly enough, I've seen there's a big visual and vocal connection. So doing product listing ads and those shopping campaigns on either search engine, especially for retailers, has been very helpful. Because if it's like on Amazon, have you used the left-hand side UI on Amazon where you're like, oh, I only want things that are 4 stars and up that have this price range? We're doing that with our voice queries. So I don't just want a pair of blue shoes. I want, show me summer strappy sandals in size 8 with white fit. You know, so we're putting that self-selection in voice because it's easier. We talk at about 140, 150 words per minute, and we type at about 38 to 40 words per minute. So it's so different.
Yeah.
If I'm yelling at my husband, it's like 500 words a minute, but yeah.
Of course, when you're angry, it's...
Yes, that's what it's a special talent.
Yeah. All right, well, Purna, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
It's great. Again, this is Kelsey Jones at Search Engine Journal.
Hi, my name is Brent Satoris. I'm here with Search Engine Journal. I'm joined today by Gary Yesh, Chief of Sunshine and Happiness at Google.
That's correct.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
There's been a lot of discussion, I don't know, a lot of discussion, but there's been some decent discussion recent about Penguin.
I never heard about penguins.
No. They've been running around here chasing you, so. Becoming more of a part of the everyday algorithm, the live algorithm.
Yeah.
And
Today's summit is the 3 takeaways
Yes.
structure.
Yes.
I'm leaving with way more.
I also like the single session format for conferences.
I agreed to be a speaker here because I think above all else, the quality of people who attend the meeting, there's something to be said about the fact that you can't just, hey, come. It's by invitation only.
What I've really liked about the speakers is that it's been very well-rounded.